I'm going to make my version of Cacodipepo. Okay, for Cacodipepo, you're going to be using most of the starch to make a creamy sauce without having to use butter or cream. So what you do is you go place your broken in half pasta, you put it inside your frying pan. Then what you do is you go fill it up the water just barely over the spaghetti. Okay? Okay, the water's just barely over the spaghetti. And you want it to be just a hair over because it's going to evaporate a little bit, but we're going to use it as a sauce. So I have it cooking on high in a frying pan. Then what you do is you just shake it side to side a little bit. Make sure that the spaghetti's all separated. Don't want them sticking together. And depending on your bag or box of spaghetti, it's usually between 8 to 12 minutes. I'm using just regular spaghetti, so that should be about, I'd say about 9 to 10 minutes. You see inside the pan how it has little floaties? That's the starch from the spaghetti. That's gonna thicken up that water. See all that white stuff? That's gonna be part of your sauce if you don't have any sauce at home. This is actually a Sicilian and Italian dish. Make sure that you shake the pan gently, not enough to spill the water, but enough to loosen up the spaghetti so they don't stick. And it will release some more of that starch. Okay, it's already starting to boil a bit. When adding water to the pan, I did some hot water rather than straight cold, but I don't think it really matters either way. I usually start my timer just when I see it start to boil. You can use a fork to kind of break it up a little bit as you're stirring, or else you're going to be peeling that spaghetti apart, and that's no fun. No bueno. Got 7 minutes left. If you feel like it's boiling too hard, you can drop it down to about medium-high. You want to have a little bit of a rolling boil, but you don't want it to evaporate too quickly because we still have 7 minutes left. Just shake the pan a little bit to separate it. Make sure that all the noodles are inside the water. Okay, the noodles are going to start to absorb some of the water and put in the flavor. So I would add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and if you have it on hand, some garlic powder. Then I would add about 1 tablespoon of oil. If it looks like the water is getting a little bit too shallow, go ahead and add just a little bit more. But you don't want that much water in there. If it slows down to boil, that's fine. There you go. Just a little shallow. Okay. Let it come back to boil. If you added extra water to it, give it an extra 2 more minutes cooking. On top of the time we had before. See, it didn't take that long. As long as you add it slowly, it'll come up to boil again. So just put it back on high. This is going to turn out pretty good. Now, if you have a lot of noodles and or food to waste, what I like to do is boil 1 full package of spaghetti, keeping the water like this. And when it's all done, pull the spaghetti out, but keep the water, because that water has all that starch in there. And then repeat the process 1 more time with new noodles, and then you'll have a real nice creamy sauce. I'm just going to do one just for the sake of trial and error. Once you get that little rolling boil, give it a little shake. And you can keep it on high if you want, because we got about 4 more minutes left, because we added extra 2 minutes because adding the water. And it'll start to reduce a bit. Just make sure all the noodles are off the side. We got about 2 minutes and 20 seconds on our timer. If you happen to have tuna fish on hand, just totally optional. Make sure you drain it, and at the end of this, we'll add the tuna to it. If not, it's perfect just the way it is. Okay, a lot of the water is really minimized. So we got a minute left. You can actually just start to stir it up. Incorporate it a bit. See how glossy that looks? That's all that starch. And give it a little bit of a garlicky, creamy finish. I added a little bit more water to it. Got cooking on high. Tasted one of the noodles. Still needs to cook a little bit further. So we'll just continue this on. I think now it's going to be more to taste on how tender you want your noodle. Rather than going by the box is just kind of a guideline when you're making it like this. Because it's not in a big thick pan of water. Just a little shallow boil. I'm going to season the taste, add a little bit more salt to it. A little bit more pepper. I'm a little bit of a garlic-holic, so a little bit more garlic to it. There we go. Just make sure it's all sitting in the water. I've added water to it twice so far, and already we're cooking about 13 minutes. For me, I'm gonna go just cook this till that water got a lot more evaporated, where it's just kind of bubbling off the pan, where it's not really water like this. I'll show you. And then by then, if you have it, you can go ahead and add your tuna to it. That oil is going to keep it from separating a little, or from sticking. It's just a waiting game. You can add a bunch of different things to this. A can of tuna, maybe some chicken. You can dice up some black olives if you have black olives. Maybe some green or bell peppers or some onions. Sky's the limit, man. Okay, I tested the noodles. It's kind of the way I like it. See how when you stir it, you can see the bottom of the pan for the most part. It's still got water. It's white and foamy. That's the starch. That's just the way we want it. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. About medium high. We'll work with a little bit of the water that's actually in there. I'm going to add some tuna fish. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Just me. Half can. Break up that tuna fish. Depends on what kind you get. I like getting the white albacore. If you happen to have any Parmesan, the shaker cheese, you can add some of that in there. If you got grated Parmesan, even better. If you have some white wine laying around, I like to cook with a little bit of white wine. And for my finishing touch, parsley flakes. And there you have it. This is my version of Cacodipepo. No sauce, no butter, no milk or cream. And there you go, my little bro. Little toast, little tea, goes down better than your high school prom date. Later.